Say that again.
If we gave her a metal bra, you'd be okay with that?
Yes.
And a blonde wig too.
No. Chris
Well, I
Hemsworth.
kind of gave her her
Chris
suit.
Hemsworth wig game in the first Thor movie is atrocious.
Yeah, but you're
So-
talking about a black girl getting a wig. I'm pretty sure she has a wig girl. So Tessa Thompson had a blonde wig, and I'm assuming that her wig person will hook her up.
Could you imagine the
You'd be
garbage
okay
that
with her
would?
being Valkyrie.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Could you imagine that the heat that they would take? Well, they made Tessa Thompson wear a wig over her. You know, come on, it wasn't like that.
Good morning, Discovery Bay.
Disco.
Oh, we got
I'm
people.
really
Are we live?
here.
Unruly, my man.
Thanks for joining us this morning, guys.
I've learned over the last few weeks that Unruly is one of my favorite people around here.
I know, right?
Who?
Unruly Simeon and High Leg
Uh-oh.
Comic Bro here from the beginning.
Speaking of favorites, ooh,
No one wants to see that.
Oh, we've been talking about blonde wigs live for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, you should just start with me not knowing. Like, what can we get Al to say so it can get canceled?
oh, you're
I think
canceled.
Whoopi Goldberg had a point. No, I'm joking. Yeah, we're going there.
Oh man. We've got an audience to start the show this morning. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with us, guys.
Yeah.
This is pop culture clobbering time where we take about an hour, give or take, to just
2, 3
chat about comic books, movies, toys, geeky stuff.
garbage.
Have a fun little discussion. And I was hoping I was going to get off light with like, let's talk about the most controversial thing first, so that nobody can come back and say you're wrong, Jay Hood. That's okay, because we're going to talk about Moth second anyway. We're going to start with the headliner, the book of, is it Mandalorian or Boba Fett?
Boba Fett, get it out of it. How dare you people come out here and besmirch the good name of Boba Fett by even mentioning the Mandalorian? He's a hanger-oner. No, I'm joking.
Next week, we got to roll up with blonde wigs. Not next week, next show. So
I think that would help Boba Fett if he had a blonde wig. You know, I've been seeing a lot of garbage. I've been seeing a lot of people hating on the Boba Fett episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. You know, I don't get it. It was you know, it's like watching paint dry, but it's informative. What gets me is it gave everybody what they always wanted to see. What's this? Oh, okay. They wanted to see Boba Fett climb out of the Sarlacc pit and become this, you know, badass that he is supposed to be. That he only appeared like 2 minutes in the original movies, and everybody's like, oh, yeah. I mean, this is a big case of be careful what you wish for, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got more Boba Fett, and now you're mad. I think really what it is. It's the fact that it's dad bod Boba Fett. I think my dad moves faster though. You know, he sees a sale, he's got to go for it. But this guy, I don't know, and he takes the helmet off way too much.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's a severe. I have that in my contract movement. You know. It's in my contract. You gotta see my face. I mean, thank goodness that what's his name, Pedro Pascal or whatever his name is like, I'll show it once in a blue, but other than that, that's the way, you know.
Yeah, I'll show up and do my recording and let the stuntman do all the acting.
And I guess he was there for some of the filming because they had his name in the credits, so he can't be like, you know, taking credit for movement actors.
Is that right?
Yep. Star Wars 81, yeah.
Your knowledge amazes me.
I mean, let me share that again. So this is what I grew up with. This was the Return of Boba Fett, in the Star Wars comic that lasted an issue.
Okay.
He got burped out of the Sarlacc and then ended up kind of in this cocoon thing, and then the Jawas came along and picked him up. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, yes, I remember them.
So I remember like everybody was up in arms a few years ago when what's her name, Kathleen Kennedy said, "Yeah, with this Star Wars stuff, we don't have any back matter to go back and reference." And then everybody's like, "You've got years and years of comics," and that's kind of what they're doing, kind of pulling a little bit of inspiration from the comic books to come up with kind of this new stuff they're coming up with.
It's kind of like they're starting with a little bit of the old and then just going their own merry way.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I think they're more. Dave Filoni is actually. He's like, no, we have this. We got this. It's hard. It's a lot of people are saying it's hard to watch because you know it's going to happen. Because if you watched Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker, you know what's going to happen to all these people. And I'm just like, well, forget those movies. We're not tied to those movies. We got, what, 20 years? 20 years of stuff that can happen between Return of the Jedi to Force Awakens. Was that more than 20 years? It's almost 30.
Yeah.
It's almost 40.
I mean, he can go heel, face, heel, face, heel, face, heel, face.
I mean, there's so much there that can be mined. And like, that was even, I mean, those movies were just like, hey, this is over here. Don't worry about it. The only problem you got is the Luke stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Luke and Leia and Han stuff. That's the only thing that really tethers it to the stuff that we're going to be doing here.
So
I
at
think
this point we'll offer a little bit of spoiler warning. I think so far we've kind of danced around some of the stuff that showed up in some of the latest episodes. I showed my Boba Fett figure in the last show, I think. Yeah.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
I still got it.
You want to know what the problem is? You want to know what the problem? I think it's a visual problem with Book of Boba, but besides the moped one people. Okay. It's the fact that Boba Fett has the black undersuit.
I'm not gonna lie, that bothers me.
It bothers me because
Me
there's
too.
something. It's the green, like the olive green, and then the
Right.
black. It's just like that don't look right, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And then what it is, they're trying to cover up that dad bod. Dad bod Boba. Dad bod Boba. Anyways, that's what he's saying, which is, ooh, who's up? And it's like, you know, his whole Samoan stuff there.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, well, no, keep going.
I was gonna say my
You
thing.
go.
I kind of totally blanked on what my thing was gonna be.
No, you go, Jamie. You go, Jamie.
I'm hearing all this complaining and this, that, and the other. So is this something that I should be watching or not?
Man, just go watch Jack Reacher. You know, you just want to watch Jack Reacher. That's
Well,
all. We're talking about what to do for the show, and I'm like, hey, maybe we should talk about Boba Fett. I want to talk about Boba Fett, but you chumps that haven't watched it, you're either prepared to be spoiled or, you know, be like Vic and, you know, don't pay attention anyway.
So my question, I'm gonna answer your question with a question. How big of a Star Wars fan are you? I mean, if you haven't been watching it, to me that shows me that you're not that big of a Star Wars fan to begin with.
I watched half of The Mandalorian.
See?
I don't even think I watched the last 2 or 3 Star Wars.
He was watching for Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
Oh yeah, he was, wasn't he? Yeah.
It was like, Carl Weathers, I gotta watch it.
Jack Reacher.
Jack Reacher, oh boy.
Good to see you, Bob.
Hey, I mean, at least Hawk is in Jack Reacher.
I was gonna say. Excellent casting. The guy
Hawk.
that plays Hawk in the Titans TV show is Jack Reacher.
Oh. You want to see my eyes glaze over? Mention any DC live action property. Anyways, we're talking about Boba Fett.
What I was going to say is, okay, I've got this kind of working theory on Star. It started with Star Trek. My opinion on Star Trek, and it's carried over to Star
Talking
Wars.
about Boba Fett.
I'm talking Star Wars now. Okay, 25% of it is really great stuff. I'll watch it over and over again. 25% of it is watchable, and the other 50% is like crap.
So that's 75. Oh, okay. 25, 25, 50. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were just saying, repeating yourself with the 25 second. So you were like, well, where's the other 25? So what you're saying is that you should watch Star Trek and not watch Star Wars.
No, he's saying it goes for both of them.
It goes for both of them.
Oh.
Like 25% of the original series of Star Trek is good. 25% is watchable, and the rest I can leave it.
Wait a minute. Whoa, you're saying that 25% of the Star Wars? I think there's more than 25% of the original series is good. There's maybe a handful of episodes that were garbage. Okay, that's more. It's like 75% of the original series is good. You're crazy, dude. No, let's talk Boba Fett. I understand you're saying that 25% of the Star Wars is good.
Into Boba Fett, what am I not agreeing with, or what do I not like in the Boba Fett? The space Vespas were terrible.
That's it. The only thing that sucked. Go ahead. Who hasn't watched it?
How is Boba? That's a T. Oh, how is Boba related to Django?
Leave. Leave. You can go. You can leave. We don't have. Wait a minute. Have you ever watched a Star Wars anything?
Yes. Remember Jar Jar?
Man.
Yes, I watched.
We're being trolled, Vic, man. Troll Vic. You're not Coach Vic. You're Troll Vic. You understand me?
I watched plenty of Star Wars.
Okay. Have you watched the prequels?
He just mentioned Jar Jar, so I would guess.
Yeah. So then you don't retain the memories.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how Padma's like 87 years old, marrying a 20-year-old dude, but actually it's worse than that. But
so, anyways, Django is the guy that they cloned everybody off of. Okay, you know the Clone Wars, all that stuff.
All the
that you probably were like not paying attention.
Yeah, I remember that from that weird planet.
Yeah, the water planet. Anyways, and so then he's had one that they didn't alter because they had to age up all the other clones to get them ready. Man, I can't believe. See, this is like traumatic movie watching for me. Like I hated the prequels. Okay, and that's one thing I'm going to give to this show, the Boba Fett show, as it saves a lot of the stuff that I hated. It kind of retcons it into being cool. Like that Naboo starfighter that the Mandalorian gets. I hated those things when I was like, what are these, like taxi cabs? These look like something like a robotic Andy Kaufman would be driving around in heartbeats.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
I think Rise of Skywalker did that a lot for the other two, the JJ movie and the Force Awakens, and I still can't remember the name of the second prequel or sequel movie.
It did what? It did what for those movies?
It kind of made up for the sins of two bad movies.
It made a huge. Rise of Skywalker is the worst one.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Rise of Skywalker. I would rather watch parts of Last Jedi than watch any of Rise of Skywalker. That is such a paint by the numbers garbage can movie.
Yeah, I got issues with those, but we're not going to talk about that.
Like, ooh, man, I cannot believe you like Rise of Skywalker. Anyways, we're talking about Boba Fett. It brought back what everybody wanted to see. Boba Fett. Exactly, got him out. Yeah. Okay. So they got him out of the Sarlacc pit. That was cool. The thing is, I think it's the editing because we go from action of him like walking around going, "Hey, I want to be your baby daddy," to all these drug lords or crime lords, and then we have him go take a nap. So it's dad nap. It's an old man Boba Fett taking naps because he gets tired, he gets cold, he needs his blankie. I don't even hate the show, man. This is what's going on here. I like it. He can't act. Yeah, he is. He is.
Is that why I just posted the last two episodes for the best ones? 'Cause he's not
Yeah,
in
of course. They say that all the time.
Well, the last two episodes have all focused on 75% focused on the Mandalorian.
Oh, so I should watch those 2 episodes.
No, you didn't finish watching Mandalorian, so
Hey, get out of here. You fake
spoilers. They bring back
pop culture fan.
they brought back
Watching
the
Jack
CGI
Reacher.
Luke Skywalker, which the CGI Luke Skywalker this time looks a lot more believable than he did in Mandalorian.
Yeah, hopefully they go back and fix.
Skywalker's in the Mandalorian.
You should have kept watching. Should have watched till the end.
Which way do I go, folks? Which way did it go? Well, George, which way did it go? Which way did it go? So
Was
anyway,
Lando in it too?
No.
Oh.
yeah, ever watch the movie Scanners?
It's about to
Wait a
explode.
second. A Hoska's in this?
Hostess
Hoska?
Cupcake.
Or I can't never say her name right.
Ahsoka.
But yes, she's in this. I like her character.
And it's Rosario Dawson, so who I think is just being Rosario Dawson in the role, and it's just like, put makeup on me. I'm going to do the same stuff I do in every other movie. But that's just acting, I guess, you know. But can we get to the okay, Jamie, you and me can talk about this. As we watch this, okay, it gives you what you want, but in a steak on a trash can way, okay? It's like, here's your steak, here's a big trash can lid, you know. I think it's like there was a season of Arrested Development that came out for whatchamacallit, for Netflix. And it was just like, okay, we're focusing on this character for like an episode or two, and then this character for an episode, and it was poorly received. So my thing is they took it and they cut it back and they edited all of it together where the characters were interacting and all that stuff and re-released it. It was good. I think that's what they kind of need to do with the Book of Boba. First, they didn't need to name it the Book of Boba. They needed to do an anthology, Star Wars anthology, maybe call it Underworld or whatever the original name for the
just call it Star Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars Well, you got to name it something else because you know, look what happened to A New Hope. They can't be Star Wars anymore. It's got to be A New Hope. So just name it Crime World or Underground or Underworld.
I'd watch that show.
Yeah, Star Wars Underworld or whatever.
Well, I can tell you the one like I don't get. I'm a Star Wars license or E, like my company pays for the Star Wars license, but I get like next to no like advanced information. But I can tell you what I was told originally was that Book of Boba Fett was going to be 3 episodes. So
that's what it feels like.
So they along the line as they were working on it, developing it, they expanded it from its original scope. So I think that's why you're getting 2 episodes of Mandalorian mixed in.
Yeah. Well, probably what happened was the pandemic, and then they were like, "Oh, well, we got this filmed. Let's just put it on here." I think it should have just been like because originally they were going to have Lucas had a bunch of scripts ready, and I'm sure this is probably what this scripts ready for like a gangster Star Wars movie. You do that. You name it that. Make it about that. But have Boba Fett. People would have ate that up, dude. And if you could have focused on some other cats while you're doing it, and just have like, oh, wait until Boba gets in there, that would have been good.
And actually, it would have been better for Disney because then they have like 1,800 shows that they could spin off of that.
Right.
Because that's all they do, make more content.
And the mods, let's just get to the mods, the moped people. When they first see them, when you see them in the trailer, it's the one, the female, and you don't care, you don't see what she's driving. And they're like, oh, she's from the Star Wars fighting game, and she's going to do, and then you see her, and you're like, oh, she's just, this character. Never say anything. If it was going to be 3 or 4 episodes, they totally did not have anything for these characters. These characters are just like, there's some stupid people on motorcycle bikes that, yeah, they're tough. They look like Inspector Gadget gone wrong.
You know what they've done with these moped people is they introduced characters where they're like, we don't want another case of a Boba Fett where we're going to have some cool looking silent character standing in the background that everybody's going to want to find out more about because we don't give a crap about these moped dudes. It's like they're the red shirts of the show.
Oh, red shirts! I wanted to. There's red shirts. I love the old red shirts. Star Trek red shirts.
Good morning,
O'Reilly and all those guys. And earlier, Bub's World said that Ahsoka was boring too, and she is. And I'll tell you why. All Jedis are boring. All Jedis are boring. Hot take, son. Hot take. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a Jedi. But thanks to the prequels and all the other movies, and this show especially, that stuff be boring. Being a Jedi would suck, and everybody would be dark-sided because they want to get with somebody. They don't want to be like, I can't love my parents. No, come on, man. What is up with this monk stuff, dude? Like, Jedi Knight, that stuff, make them a knight. Make them a samurai. They had kids and they had wives and stuff doing that. I hate it. I hate how boring Jedis are. Even this Luke, you could tell he was reading a cue card. Mark Hamill going, Grogu, you will learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like Yoda here. I seen that today. They're just going through stuff. They don't want you to have personal attachments, right? But hey, I'm Obi-Wan Kenobi. Here's your father's lightsaber. Don't have a personal attachment to the dude you never met. And then he's trying to pawn off Yoda's, spoiler alert, Yoda's freaking lightsaber to Grogu. It's like, don't have a personal attachment. What do you think that is, you jackass? Huh? It's like, hey.
Jedi. Just saying.
Huh?
It should have made John Boyega a Jedi.
So he could be boring. Well, yeah, he didn't have anything to do in the movies anyways. After Force Awakens, he didn't have anything to do.
No.
I mean, yeah, it is. Good guy. No, modern America shouldn't. People that we like have personality. That's the thing. Charisma. That's something that these characters are lacking. That's what these Jedis are lacking. I mean, even go back and look at the smoothest cat in the world, right? Mace Windu should have been good. That dude's like, you think he's the chosen one? Hey, are you going to pay me for this? Can I say, mother? Can I say?
Mace Windu is not the smoothest cat in the Star Wars universe.
No. I'm talking about
Sam.
Sam, man.
Okay.
You take him and then you put him. I hated Sam. What's his name?
L. Jackson.
L. Jackson. Man, I'm having a brain fart this morning. Anyways, I've hated him. I hated him for the longest time because of the prequels. And then there was something else he did that made me, okay, you're back to me. You're back. Like I loved him from Pulp Fiction on, and then like the prequels just was like, bloop, and I couldn't stand him. And then he did another movie, and I was like, all right, you're back for me.
When he started doing credit card commercials, he was all right again.
That's it. I think it was the RoboCop remake. I loved him in that.
By the way, it'll be coming up next month. I'll be back.
I mean, that's what kind of broke Anakin was having to deal with that stuff.
It was so over the top, so melodramatic. So melodramatic. It's just like, hey, we don't want you to have personal attachments and all this, and we don't want you to go to the dark side. But by doing so, we're going to make it, it's like you can't, excuse the term, you can't masturbate, okay? You can't do any of this. You wouldn't be able to fan it. You wouldn't be able to do anything. You would just be like, oh, God, oh, my God. You'd be worried about so much. So much. It wouldn't be doing it, man. I'd be like, can I fart? We're like, no.
Funk Comics, good to see you this morning. Thanks for joining us.
And I tell you, okay, so what I liked. Let's talk about what you liked about Boba Fett. I liked Sarlacc Pit. I liked the Tusken Raiders, man. I wish they would have stuck around longer. I liked Yeah, the Kashyyyk guy or whatever. What's his name? Chewbacca. I like Chewbacca. He was cool. The baby Rancor, like that they didn't do anything with. They could have done an episode on just the baby Rancor, man.
He'll make it come back.
They have a
Yeah,
different Chewbacca in this, or what?
yeah, it's a different Chewbacca.
No, they've got a different Wookiee. It's black. It's, his name rhymes with a spice, and I can't remember what it is.
I don't know.
Like
Cinnamon.
chimichanga or something.
Chimichanga. So, anyways, Chimichanga.
Like
He's
Coriander?
coming here.
Oh.
I like the designs of everything. It's just, it's like listening to Jamie like with a 10-point presentation. Like, all right, this is where I was in the Sarlacc pit here, and then what happened was I stayed there for a couple days drinking my own pee to stay alive, okay? And then what happened was this bird landed, and I grabbed the bird and I ate the bird to sustain myself. And how that happens is the belly dissolves not, it's just like, okay, guys, just get to the meat and potatoes here. And that's what happened. It was kind of like, let's stretch it out some. But it's funny. Like, I think this is going to be one of those, after everything's over, you're going to be able to go back and watch it and be like, okay, it fits. It might be something you should stream outright instead of like one at a time.
So to touch on Bub's point here about the dialogue, and this is what I'm talking about when I say that, a lot of Star Wars stuff, even though we remember it so fondly, is crap. You go back and watch the original New Hope, and the acting by Mark Hamill and that, he's going to go to the Tashi station, pick up some.
Oh, wait a minute here. At least he had emotion. At least he had emotion.
But I'm saying
we busted on Hamill, man.
We nitpick this stuff, but yet, to me, A New Hope is the greatest movie ever made. It's top of the pile.
Even that is someone going, I love you, but you're ugly.
Line delivery. It doesn't all have to be 100% perfect for us to enjoy it. That's my point.
Well, we had 40-something years to get it right, and this is what's happening, and that's the problem. That's being disappointed in a kid. That's what's happening. So you grew up to, lick toads. What's going on here?
Did you cover all the points that you appreciate, everything you like? Did you get through all of them?
I'm just talking about the Boba stuff. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because
so are you saying, is the writing bad or?
No, it's not. It's edited. It's like put together poorly. It's like they tried to, let's get through all the Boba stuff, which they could have strained. They could have okay, this could go here. If they added in different characters to like show me some of the Twi'lek girl, the Twi'lek woman, There
you go. Black Chrysanthemum is the name of the new Wookiee, and he's a kind of a villain, kind of a badass, and he comes from the comics. And the new character they introduced in the latest episode also comes from the comics. That's one of the things that even though I'm not reading the comics, to me, Star Wars is only what I see on screen.
Yeah. Well, them too, because they added. Oh, okay, yeah. So, spoilers at the end. Cad Bane shows up in the end of the Mandalorian. Okay,
that's the guy. Yeah.
And wow, dude, I popped huge. You probably don't give a damn about that dude, but I got me a Funko Pop of that dude standing over here. This guy, I seen that guy coming up in the desert. I was like, first I popped because Sergio Leone, all those westerns, man. I love that stuff. But when I was like, oh, dude, is this gonna be him? Is this gonna be it? I popped because I was like, oh, because it's like your favorite wrestler or a wrestler that would work for someone else showing up. You know what I mean? Showing up in oh no, it's Samoa Joe. Oh man, That's what I got. That's why it got me. Like, I don't know anything about this dude other than he's a bounty hunter that looks crazy, and he's not an earthling. And I like that. And the more they do that with Star Wars is the better, because I don't need to see, listen, the Poe and Rey and Finn, that's cool. but make them some aliens sometime.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like Cad Bane. That's why I like Mandalorian. I like seeing, even though those Twi'lek guys, the like, hey, just put a hat on me, I'll be okay. And I'm gonna make funny voices, especially anyway.
Now I'm going to say something that's going to cause you to lose a little more respect for me. So you're saying the feeling you had when this guy showed up, it's kind of like the feeling I had watching the Royal Rumble, and I heard "Must be the money," and
I
Shane
hope
McMahon
not,
showed
because
up.
you like Shane McMahon come down and take someone's spot. That doesn't matter. I don't watch WWE anymore because
I
it's
like his
garbage.
theme music.
Huh?
I like his theme music.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. The theme music's badass. That's what got it. That's everybody's theme music. They had great theme music in the day. They had like even Hulk Hogan's music. They had Stone Cold, all that stuff. Triple H's. It's all about the game.
Yeah,
Great music. So I give you that. I still listen to some people's music once in a time. Like ooh, this is a good song. I mean, most of it now is garbage because I can't watch WWE so much.
This touches on Second Street Marvel's point here that watching the OGs again recently, they just don't make films like that anymore. They even try to replicate the magic, and it just won't happen. I think there is a certain amount of magic, so to speak, that does happen
We'll always have Paris. Yeah.
when you are working on a film like this under a certain budget. There are restrictions, and you have to get creative in the ways that you solve the problems to convey the look you want. And I think with the advent of computer generated graphics, where just about anything you want can be shown on screen, that's where I think there's something intangible that gets lost there.
yeah.
The one thing I do like about what the technology they've developed to film this, and it kind of came out of the COVID thing, is the fact that they're filming a lot of these scenes in what they call is it the atmosphere or the dome or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
CGI
Yeah, I
background.
know what you're talking about.
But yeah, the technology they've developed, I think, is incredibly interesting and opens up tons of new avenues that they can do different settings on the cheap, so to speak. But I think when you come across a breakthrough like that, a breakthrough kind of technology, then really got to refine the story again. You got to make sure that everything is on point and nothing's kind of falling through the cracks.
Well, I was going to say about the magic, because I always talk about this. Like I remember when I was just a little tyke watching the Muppet movie, and when Kermit came down the stream playing Rainbow Connection on the was it a ukulele, guitar, whatever,
Banjo.
banjo. Thank you. I was just like, this is amazing. I mean, my eyes was like wide open. It was like, wow. But I think because of technology and that's where we are, you don't have that imagination or that wow factor anymore for just anybody. I mean, I would say the youth of the day, but even like me now, I mean, I've seen a lot.
We're of the generation where anything can be expected, so it's hard to surprise us.
Yes, there. Yeah.
Especially you, because you have no pulse.
So I'm an old man, and I like it the way it was.
New Star Wars bad. Well, hey, pretty much Star Wars I truly enjoyed was the first movie. Yeah, first I'd say Star Wars and Empire are probably right there. Yeah, we'll always have Paris. I mean,
the volume, yeah, that's what they call it.
What's the volume?
It's got such a trendy name.
I was gonna say it's the name of Cal and Cowherd's podcast group.
That's what they call it.
The volume.
Pump up the volume. But I guess wrap up the Boba stuff. Like, you should be happy with what you're getting.
That's kind of what my favorite thing is here. Is they're giving us new Star Wars we never thought we'd see.
Yeah.
They're building on what has come before with this one rather than just ignoring it and trying to trash it. And I think it's good enough. It's not high art. It's gonna get us by. And
high art. You gotta disparage it while you're You're
No,
doing the.
and
I'm going to give you a positive after
they're,
when
they're,
I'm going to
build, they're
crap on
building
you.
up to something bigger too. They've got a plan with this, and we can kind of all see it.
Well, they don't. That's what scares me. They don't have a plan. It's all connected, man. It's the Illuminati. I just say that the Boba's like an uncle that's been away for a long time, and he comes back and he's got some weird fetishes, and you're just like, okay, thank you, that's cool. But I'm sure they will. I mean, what, they got one more episode, or
I think so.
do you think they kill Boba Fett, or you think they keep him around?
Well, they'll keep them around.
You think Grogu? Who do you think? Okay, the dark saber. All right. Who do you think is going to become the new lead of the Mandalorian or the Mandalore?
I don't think they're not going to resolve that in the Book of Boba.
Yeah, not.
Wait a second,
It'll be.
Grogu's in this too?
Is that in the corner? You are in the corner. Yeah. Oh, how do we breathe oxygen? What is it? Anyways, yes, Grogu's in it. Luke Skywalker's in it.
Well, then here's how they're going to end it. Grogu's going to get the dark lightsaber and kill Boba. Bam, there you go.
That'd be awesome.
Remember where you heard it first.
Yeah, if it happens, then you're the soothsayer. You are the prophet, Vic.
They do have. It seems like they're gonna do a lot in this last episode, which I think.
Well, obviously he's gonna help Mandalorian go to Mandalore, find Mandalore, or they're just gonna be episodes after that. You know, like I said, just do the anthology show or the Game of Thrones Star Wars show where it's all about the crime lords. So this hopefully no more Book of Boba Fett. They just name it something different.
Mm-hmm.
So when this is over, Disney has a little bit of a gap between, like, the next big show for on Disney Plus is Moon Knight.
What's that, in March or May?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you got to think they got Doctor Strange 2 coming out in March, right?
No, they pushed it back to their May or June spot.
Okay, well, that's right, because Batman's coming out. Batman. Hey, you're not gonna, but some stuff I seen recently, I'm kind of getting a little bit excited for the Batman show.
Okay.
Yeah,
Was it
I'm
3 hours?
kind of
What was
like,
that movie?
huh?
That movie was 3 hours and 2 minutes, something like that.
Like Civil War and all those movies are long movies. I remember having to take a wicked pee at Endgame, and just
That's
like,
like
is this over yet?
You gotta get the Run P app. Tells you when to go use the bathroom.
Oh,
movie.
okay. I just let it go on the floor, and then I'm like, okay, someone will clean it up.
So, Gore, you make the point that's probably the biggest criticism of the show. I think a lot of people agree.
I said it earlier.
The character like Boba Fett, just like Wolverine, in my opinion, too. The mystery behind him is what drove the character, and once you reveal the mystery, it's everything else is kind of not what you had hoped.
Well, that, and they did that in the prequels, so I blame the prequels. But props to all the goons recently for taking, like I said, taking stuff we hated, like prequel. What is this? And they're cleaning it up. And they're going, no, look what you can do with this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I really appreciate this series. I appreciate Dave Filoni and what Jon Favreau are doing. And props to Bryce Dallas Howard, who she did the first Mandalorian episode appearance in the Book of Boba, and that was like,
Twilight.
I was like, this is good. She's good. What?
No,
Say
Twilight.
again.
she was in Twilight.
So Sunday we're gonna do a show on all of Vic's favorite movies, and then just like we can talk together about stuff that we know and he doesn't, he can just talk and we can just sit here and ask stupid questions.
Let's do it next time.
Hey.
So
Next time it's gonna be all about Vic.
They're pulling a lot of inspiration from spaghetti westerns for this show, and they did to some extent for Mandalorian
I
too.
was going to say that, but I didn't want to risk being wrong.
Yeah, because you have to watch it to have an opinion on it.
I watched over half the episodes of The Mandalorian.
Maybe like half
Ooh.
of the intro.
Not a bad idea.
Mhm.
I wear an astronaut suit. I can just like pee and then
Especially
read
like
nothing.
sitting down watching the boring Batman movie for 3 hours.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the Moon Knight show. I more so that, and I want to see my. Okay, here's my take on the Moon Knight thing. I think instead of it being split personalities, spoiler alert, that no one that knows comic books, like that character from comic books would know. I think it's the multiverse versions of him trying to be in one body. I think that would be.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, so
Yep.
it's like he's Mark Spector here, he's Steve Grant here, and then they're like trying to like, what's going on? I think that'd be an interesting take on split personalities.
Yeah, it would be.
Do a sports episode for Vic.
Woohoo!
And,
Hey, I'm just trying to get in the league.
an episode.
I'm just trying to get in the league, Highly. That's all I'm trying to do. I just want in the league.
I'll go to movies, his movies and comics.
Oh, I mean, we would hit Remember the Titan. Wait, whoa, but the best thing that's coming up on Disney Plus, though, we haven't talked about it yet, is Sneakerella.
If you were on your own screen, I'd turn you off right now.
Okay, fine. Sneakerhead, Cinderella, Great Spin.
We'll talk about this for a minute.
Number one
Go
seller
ahead.
in the country.
Go ahead and make the screen larger. Go ahead.
You really don't even want to be on screen for this one?
I just make it so you can see the picture.
I'm not gonna say that what that school district, the school board did for that school.
The governor.
The governor?
Governor.
I thought it was a school board meeting.
No, the governor said that was the first law he signed. First thing he signed in the law, banning that book of Tennessee.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
It's Tennessee. It's like yelling to the choir, like, you shouldn't do this. And then it's like,
okay, I'm going to have to look into that.
Look,
I'll tell you what this does for that book.
Because that's where Tipper Gore was when she was banning 2 Live Cruise record, making it super popular.
Okay, so
everybody.
I'll just jump to the point that I was going to build this into.
Are we talking about 2 Live Crew? I'll do that. Luke Skywalker. That's great.
Thank you, Hialeah.
Uncle Luke.
You're in next year. Tony's workbench. Oh.
Are you going? Let's go. Talk about it. Ooh.
Let's see. Mouse never impressed me. This is Unruly Simeon's opinion. I read the same story before, done a dozen times. I'm sure a lot of idiots in charge of locals take it.
Now, this was just in schools, or is it in libraries everywhere?
Schools.
It's just in schools? Comic books shouldn't be in schools anyways.
That's the way it was when I was a kid. We could bring
comic books in
school and have it taken seriously. Okay, so the point that I was going to build into with this whole thing is, okay, it made it back to like on the bestseller list. My thing is, why it's an indictment on the state of the current comic book industry that a 40-year-old book is on the top of the bestseller list and not something that was made in like the last 10 years, because they just don't make classics like Mouse or Dark Knight Returns or Watchmen or anything like that anymore. That everybody,
get off my lawn.
Everybody just looks back at those books and say those are good enough.
But can I tell you about the genius comic book store owner in Tennessee who created a GoFundMe and said, I'm going to make sure everybody that wants a copy of Mouse can get it. So I want to raise $20,000, and he's raised almost $80,000 to buy copies of this book and distribute them because he's making a mint. Because I'm assuming he's using his store to sell the books.
But I thought you said the governor like banned it from the state.
No, he banned it from the schools.
Oh, okay.
But any student that wants one, he's going to make sure they get a copy of it sent right to them.
Well, all my libraries around me, they carry graphic novels. Okay. When I was a kid, one down by me would have comic books, like actual floppy comic books. And they were gross because everybody would get them and like rip them and, fondle them or do whatever they do with comic books. Okay. And I still find them sometimes in dollar stores like near me that like, oh, look, it has the
stamp,
the Virginia Tut logo on it. But I don't think for a library at a school, to me, that's distracting to have comic books. And I might be, like a horrible person, but.
Well, okay, so there's comic books and there's comic books. And would a junior high school kid be that intrigued by what he would find, in this book?
So just like comic book nerds that are hoity-toity, there are kids that are hoity-toity and pretentious, and they would love that. They'd be like, I read Miles. I love it. That's my favorite book.
People say read Atlas Shrugged and books like that, which I really do want to read Atlas Shrugged. But
I have 2 copies upstairs.
Really?
Yeah.
So I mean, in this day and age, comic books are some of the are selling really well to tweeners, early teenagers, younger kids like mine. Comic books are huge through Scholastic. There are other publishers like Scholastic.
No,
The book will build people.
Marvel and DC sales suck terribly in comparison. The biggest
look at their books.
Publishers of comics these days, you're not going to find them in the LCS because they're being sold in Barnes and Noble and through bookstores and Amazon and even school booksellers. And Marvel and DC have a long way to catch up. And
well, I think floppies are going the way of Boo Boo.
Having Batman in 75% of your releases,
love it.
Not helping.
He should be in Marvel books too. I think Batman, he's not played out at all, and he should be on every cover. And there should be a Find the Batman in each comic book where he's like hidden somewhere in the comic book. When joke's on you, it's 95% of the comic, and then the character you bought the book for is the hidden character. That's what it is. That's what they should just do. Like, I've been buying the Booster Blue and Gold book because I used to like these characters. Well,
okay. I mean, it's cats and mice. Do they wear clothes in everyday life? I mean,
the Japanese will draw much sexier cats and mice than Art Spiegelman did. I'll tell you.
Hello Kitty.
If you draw them sexy during the Nazi regime mouse, the Nazis mouse, and
I mean, we got people saying because the M&Ms aren't sexy anymore, but we'll let that go. The chocolate was too sexy, which goes back to the whole sexification of chocolate people.
Listen, this is like my analogy for winter. Everybody hates winter, and everything's like, oh, I hate it. But you gotta have winter to appreciate summer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Same with this. You gotta have bannings. You gotta have this, and this, because once we get out the other side, because we'll wake up, because it's like our brains hibernate during certain things. Like, hey, what's banning this stuff? We don't like this people. We don't like, but then we're out of hibernation, and then we're like, oh, what have we been doing? Let's celebrate everything. So it's secular, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like gonna come back around where we're all heathens again, and everybody's gonna be like going crazy in the streets because we'll realize stuff. That's what happens. That's just what happens. We get pious, and we're just like, oh, I don't even look at cartoons wrong. And then you get to the point where like, yeah, that cartoon Jessica Rabbit's pretty sexy, you know.
She's not sexy. She's just drawn that way.
No, she's bad. She's drawn that way.
Oh,
I speak on Super Sevens. They're making Roger Rabbit figures, and that Jessica Rabbit is sad looking. Okay, she's gotta be taller than that. Anyway, well, that's my point. We're in the ban everything. We have 6 up our butts right now. It's just stuff we go through, man. It's like something happens, and then we're like, oh well, we'll get back to being degenerates in no time.
So to Gore's point, my daughters are big fans of Captain Underpants.
Yeah. Who you want? That's in the libraries. Captain Underpants is in the libraries. Well, I'm going to come out with a Captain. Never mind. I think we need to shed a light on the people that look at comic books for just like to look at hot chicks. It's like you guys should be ashamed of yourself.
wait a second. Are you trying to kill the whole vampirella industry?
Nah, it's like no. It's fine to be like, oh, she's whatever. But then there are guys out there. There are guys that are like, I gotta get everything.
Don't offend our audience.
There's a variant cover with her on the toilet. I don't know. That's.
But I'll tell you one thing now. That I was always amazed at people banning books. Cause I'll never forget. I got in trouble in 6th grade. I did a book report on one of my favorite books I've been reading since 4th grade.
Luke
Huckleberry Finn.
Oh, yeah, well.
And the teacher's like, you can't read this book. Well, I'm like, I know this book forwards and backwards. What are you talking about? And like, I didn't fully understand the book until much later. It still shouldn't have been banned. But I'm amazed that people ban books. Because to me, the only way to make a book popular, the only way to make a record popular, the only way to make anything popular is to ban it and tell people it's bad.
Tell people they can't have it.
It's risque. It has issues.
Okay. Then what you're saying, you've solved DC and Marvel's problem. They can't sell comic books because everybody can get them. Ban
the comic books. All right.
Ban Superman.
Put an NC-17 on Titan. See how well that sells.
Let's ban Batman. No more Batman for the common man.
Ban them all. Ban comic books. They're the devil. They're polluting your minds. They're dark-sided. All these chicks with big bosoms. Big bosom Wonder Woman driving boys crazy. It's evil.
By the way, I kind of feel like that's the subtitle for the My Little Pony Transformers crossover titles.
What's that?
My Little Pony Gone Wild.
My little pony, huh? Let me talk about My Little Pony. I was riding high on that for a while. I sold some. Okay, Ron Frenz. Let's talk about Ron Frenz. I was selling some good My Little Pony stuff, and then the market just fell through. I'm disappointed in that. Like, where are my bronies at, man? Where's the furry guys that buy that stuff? Anyways, yeah, let's talk about Ron Frenz and how underrated I think a lot of guys from the 80s and the 90s or early 90s, because I don't know, he might have petered out in the mid 90s when it was extreme. I blame that. I blame the extreme, the image style for, driving out artists like Ron Frenz or making them horrible.
Now it said that he's a penciler, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a penciler. He also co-wrote
the stuff he would have done.
Well, he would have indicated it in pencil, and then the inker puts the black over it.
Oh, okay. I was just curious about that because I'm still trying to figure out, does the penciler get credit for everything that's black or not? Or they just get credit for everything.
So the penciler is actually the invisible artist here, because his work actually all disappears. It all gets erased.
Okay.
Yeah, who inked this? Joe Sennett?
I think it was Brett Brading.
Okay. Well, he worked with Joe Sennett a lot. And the reason why, I don't know, I liked He's
Yeah.
one of those guys I found later.
You do that
Ron Frenz is.
too.
I think I got one of his comic books. He was doing the Amazing Spider-Man, and it was I think it was a Cookie Crisp mail away. I like wrote that, hey, I sent out of a comic or out of a Cookie Crisp box or something for a free comic book. And I got it, and it was I still have the comic book. It was awesome. Hobgoblin punching Spider-Man through like a building window, and like they're like Harry Osborn's at a business table, like, and the glass is going everywhere. It's very dynamic. And back then, I was like, "Who's this? I don't know. I don't like this guy." I'm a kid, and so later, I see the Thunderstrike character, right? I mean, look at this. That's beautiful. That's crazy. This guy is underrated, man. I'm telling you.
This is very Kirby inspired right here.
Yeah, well, he
This
has
is-
kind of does that on purpose with
Yeah,
these.
this is even inked by Joe. This is stuff inked by Joe Sinnott. who
Right.
got Kirby's.
They went out of their way because it was kind of like, hey, you want a Kirby Thor? We're gonna give you Kirby. This. I hate to break it. I love Kirby, but there's times when it's like, where's that foot going, or where's this going? I think what happened here is Ron Frenz was kind of the best of both worlds. He was like that Kirby you wanted that was really polished almost. And he's a dad. He's like I'd say he's 75% Kirby, and then he's 25% John Buscema,
Yeah.
He's definitely got that in him. And that's like a crazy, if he was out like in the 70s and like early 80s, this dude would have been a bigger name.
Really?
I think when he came along, he kind of, and he was always just the Marvel guy. Could you imagine if they would have had him do New Gods, like brought him over to DC, and then like a good writer and good art, this guy on New Gods?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been, oh my goodness. I'm like,
he hopped over to DC for a short minute on Superman, but he didn't last long over there.
Right. Well, that was late 90s, right?
Yeah.
That was like 97, 98 or something.
But he had already done this stuff on Thor at that point.
Oh, yeah. This is like early 90s. Probably 89, 90.
I was going to say, I guess it was the last issue you looked at. The Thor's hair when he didn't have the crown on.
That was kind of the punk rock Thor.
Yeah, I like that.
Punk rock girl.
We need to bring him back. Or am I alone in that opinion?
You are alone in that opinion.
Oh, my bad.
I don't remember what issue that was.
But I had to, yeah, like, I think I have this issue too. It's weird. That's why I like going to look at old comic books again. Like comics, like I go to a comic book shop around here, and he has a bunch of like dollar comics, And I go through there, and I'm like, I'll pick this up, because sometimes you're gonna find an artist that you never gave a chance to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And you're gonna be like, oh, okay. Because when I was a kid, I was stuck up, man. I was like, Jim Lee is God. You know what I mean? When I found, I think Jim Lee was around for around that time that he was doing Thor. What year does that say? That's bogus. 2013. That's bogus.
Yeah,
anyway,
they've copied the reprints in this. But
yeah.
this figure right here, when you talk about he's a mix between Kirby and John Buscema, yeah, you can really see it, especially in that face.
So I even recognize that as a Kirby character, as a Kirby look in the face.
No.
Yes, because it's one of the.
But
new
guys. What's funny is that like.
Where is it? Yeah, of course.
It's like having the best Elvis impersonator, and be like, oh, he's kind of got some kind of a little bit better there. I wouldn't say he's better. I don't know. I think.
Who is it? Oh.
I'm ashamed that I didn't give him my love when he was prevalent, So
prime.
Who's that blonde in the front?
It's Quasar.
Quasar. Let me catch up to some of these comments here, if any.
We're still talking about. When I was married to my ex-wife, who was a generous 3 out of 10, hot babes on books made me feel bad. Now that I'm married to my current wife, a modest 8 out of 10, the babe books are fun to look at. Hey, that's the thing. Women with nice rack, okay, Iraq, are the best until Elvira tells you you have to cancel Spotify. She hurt my delicate CPs.
Ridiculousness.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'll just say that. I know most people that buy the, like the hot babe books are females too. So I'm not ragging on them; they can do it all they want. It's just the really creepy dudes. There's a lot of creepy comic book collectors that like make you feel gross when you buy them. That are like, ooh, I sure like that She-Hulk cover. That's my favorite. Hold this for a minute. I gotta go in the other room. I don't know. And then they want to hold your kid.
Back to your point on Ron Frenz here. I agree. He's. I'm embarrassed to say I don't have very many comics by him. I shouldn't say I'm embarrassed to say, but I should have more.
You should. He gets an entire run of Frenz, and he did the Kirby stuff where he was on it for a big brick. He did the brick, man. He was like, I'm on this for life, and then he left.
Where you go?
I wish I could go back in time. I wish I could Avengers Forever this, man. Go back in time and get the artists and writers that I like that from the past and have them do stuff, But like all artists that age, they kind of like, I can't draw anymore.
Well,
but I don't know.
He was kind of, his style was after his time, so to speak. He worked on characters like Thor, then Thunderstrike, and Spider-Girl, which...
Yeah, and he also did the...
Who's she?
The female Cap, right? He did a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
The female Cap.
There was a female, like... She was like Sharon Carter's daughter or something. It was like a Next or something.
Oh.
You remember that?
Yeah.
It was like an alternate reality where they had all the different... I think he did that. At least I know he did the covers. I agree with your inebriated friend. I don't know. I can't say that. I mean, I just grew out of... that's an awesome Thor right there. Almost looks like his face there. The Thor face there looks like a Murphy Anderson. If you guys familiar with Murphy Anderson, that face looks really Murphy Anderson. Huh?
Vic's sitting there acting like he knows what Murphy Anderson art looks like.
Yeah. That looks like the scene from The Mandalorian, the last episode. You remember that there, Vic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whoa. I've not picked that one up.
Never thought about Friends being a decade too late. I didn't think about it. Wait until then. Yeah, he was in the 80s. It was just I felt like he was paying his dues then. But they put him on Spider-Man like early that I know of in his career. And you go back and see that, like, he it was awesome. Like, you take him for granted. That's what happened. We take people for granted so much, and then when they're gone and you're like, man, I miss this, or then you're like, oh, that's because he was awesome and we never paid attention. We didn't give him his just desserts. I'm sure he got his just desserts. I'm sure there's people at conventions that go up to him and like, oh, I loved your stuff, and get a commission. And
I mean, that's half the charm of comic books. There's always new old stuff to go back and find and build an appreciation for. Like Mike Allred, I appreciated Mike Allred as a craftsman, but didn't really care to go and buy his work and collect it and really consume it. And now I'm like, yeah, give me all the Mike Allred I can get.
Yeah, right.
The guy holding the baseball bat.
Or also, there's an artist named I think Kerry Gamble. Gamble, he's real good too. That I think he never got. I only know him off of. He used to do Superman and also like the Fantastic Four. He's had guest shots on there, and
I want to say he drew the Fallen Angels miniseries back in the 80s that had like Sunspot and a bunch of new mutants in it that we'd never heard of.
okay. I know some of the New Mutants, Cannonball.
No, not. I mean, they were new to the series. Like it was Sunspot, Warlock, and other new characters like Boom Boom or something like that.
Boom Boom.
Yeah, Rich Buckler. There was a cover that I loved from the All Star Squadrons, like number 36, I want to say, and I always thought it was Jerry Ordway because he inked it. And we all know Jerry Ordway, when he inks something, he makes it his.
Yeah.
But it was a Rich Buckler cover, but Jerry Ordway. Hey, man, I ain't down on Jerry Ordway because he did some of the best ink work in the Crisis miniseries, maxi series. Because I go and look at some, like you look at that Crisis and you're like, okay, Dick Giordano, okay, yeah, this guy screwed it up too. Then you get the Jerry Ordway, you're like, whoa, this is epic, And then fortunately, he makes it. He even made Perez look. It was like it was a great marriage. I'm telling you. Whenever you're like thinking you're having a nostalgia kick for Crisis on Infinite Earths, which DC won't let you because everything Crisis now. Anyways. Every time you think, oh man, remember that and remember this, you'll go back and it's because Jerry Ordway inked that. Okay, I think a lot of his stuff, he inked a lot of the good covers and the innards. And Crisis on Infinite Earths, Crisis on everything. DC, you bastards, you're tearing me apart. There's an actual comic book series from DC called 0 Point. Do they not understand? There's no point. I mean, there's no point, and that's what DC is.
That's hilarious.
Comic books
probably selling hotcakes too. No. And DC's like,
I don't think anything from DC or Marvel sound like hotcakes.
Batman.
Well, yeah, that's why he's in everything. He's always in Batman. They should just name it BC, Batman Comics.
They're getting there.
It makes more sense than DC.
Look, DC needs to have somebody come in and take over and be like a Jim Shooter type of overall editor-in-chief that will guide the whole entire line. Even if it's not guiding the entire line, just have everything be good and worth buying.
Honestly, I think the problem is they are trying to figure out what they're going to do as far as selling off the company or keeping the company or whatever before they make any moves as far as leadership. They're going to let whoever runs them next take care of all the fixing of it, and who knows how long that'll take.
I don't think the new owners know how broken it's going to be.
I think another thing is they're trying to make everything like a statement now.
Mm-hmm.
There's just so many books that it's just like.
Look, I don't mind them taking a stand, making a statement, as long as it's a good story that has more than just that behind it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if I was to do it, which, I'll give you my opinion. They have the Black Label stuff. Save the statements for Black Label or like, this is what I'd do. I'd sell comic books. If I was going to sell a comic book at a comic book stand or at like Walmart, which is impossible to do because they're hidden away and they're in multi-packs. And if you had them separate, they'd be all flat. They'd be ripped up like my library's comic books. But in the old day, there was comic books that were digestible for everybody on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would go to the comic book shop to get the stuff that had nude boo-boos in them, That's what they need to kind of do. Leave the statements out of the Superman books and out of the Batman books and stop putting Catwoman making out with Batman on every effing cover. We get it.
Wait a second. On 3 covers every week.
Yeah, on all the covers. That's what's they're drowning it, man. Because they're okay. So when I was a kid, I was at the Y and I was swimming in the deep end. Now I could swim, And then my buddy's cousin who couldn't swim was like, I had to go and save that person, So I did that. They got on my back. They like put their arms around my back, started taking me down. Okay. That's what DC is. DC, you get like the well-meaning guy to come over, like, hey, and then they're like, oh, we need all these variant covers. Oh my god! And it's all these variant covers, all these their ideals that they're trying to give us comic book. I think I don't want to say it, but they're gonna have to go away to come back. I can't miss you if you don't go away. That's the
And,
truth.
I think Marvel's the same way though.
you said variant covers. I don't know if you guys are aware, Black History Month. I happen to be kind of pro-black. Now, last
Not
year,
you.
Marvel came out.
I think for Black History Month, you should be anti-black.
Last year, Marvel came out these Black History Month covers. They were great covers. I got them all. And I found, DC has Black History Month covers. They're horrible. Horrible. And they're just bad covers. They got them that real looking person. I'm like,
but it's Black History Month, so you have to buy it.
No, I'm not buying it. Well, see, that's the catch-22, right? If I don't buy it, nobody wants his black forward stuff.
You're not black enough if you're not buying it.
Or you're not going to get more black content. But I'm just like, come on, y'all. At least put some effort into it. Put some thought into it. I mean, work a little bit. And then my biggest issue is they got the colors of not Africa, because Africa's a country, a continent. They got black, green, and red up there. I'm like, dude, what's wrong with red, white, and blue? Because we are Americans.
Yeah. African American, right? It is.
Let's put American. Give us red, white, and blue for the logo. Why does it gotta be black, green, and gold? Black, green, and gold. Yeah, I think that's it. Black, green, and gold. But DC,
I don't know. See, that's the problem you get into.
Appeal to everybody.
That's the problem when you get into when it's just like, okay, just this month we're doing this. You can do it multiple months, but you got to have the good characters. Again, you got to have the good characters. If you don't,
well, they had a good character, but they trashed her. Hey, they trashed her right in time for Black History Month too, huh? Guess that would have been a bad look.
Who'd they trash? What character?
That black.
Just dark.
It's just tan, yeah.
Who?
Yara Flor.
Well, the Wonder Woman that we read that you hated.
That's the thing, man. That's another thing. I'm looking at Instagram. My buddies on Instagram posts other like comic book artists that are out there that are trying to make, and I'm looking at some of the sequential artwork of these guys, and I'm like, hey, you can draw a character, but I don't know what the hell's going on in this panel. Or like the whole page, it's just like everything's breaking every panel, and there's no structure to it. It's just meant to look cool. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, I'm like, oh, this must be before words are added, right? So no, there's a little dialogue blurb at the bottom, and I was like, oh, well, thank God that's there, because I know this person's, hey, I am not Da Vinci, or I'm not even, anybody when it comes to laying out a comic book page or even doing art, but you got to know the rules to break the rules, and I don't think this guy knows the rules. I don't think there's a lot of artists out there that are just doing it to look cool. It's like doing wrestling moves. You're just gonna flip around and try to hope that makes you a good wrestler when it doesn't. Like I said, you got to know the rules to break them. So, where is it? What's my point? I don't have one.
Well, we are going to make a point to come back in 2 weeks. And since it is Black History Month, we are going to do an episode on our favorite Black characters in comics, and pop culture, and our favorite comic book creators, Black comic book creators.
I'm excited. Good.
You got to do some Googling to figure out who's who.
I know.
All right.
Can we all not?
I
take
think I'm
Ryan's
going to know
Freeze
more.
and
I'm
let-
going to know more than Vic when it comes to it. He's going to I like this character. And I'm like, oh, yeah, well, look at this character. You know, and he'll be
like,
who's that?
Dwayne
He's like,
McDuck.
was he in Mandalorian? I don't know.
Black or Santon, does he count? I don't know. He's got black in his name.
So is Black Canary.
Taking for granted. That's our new segment next week. Taken for granted. Taken for granted. Or we bring up an artist that
I
should
like
be
that.
given a spotlight. And Ron Frenz, you've been taken for granted. Give me some
I
money.
was taking your love for granted.
All right, I'm ready to go.
All right. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us this morning, everyone. We had a great live audience. Always makes for a better show when we have that. So thanks to Gore Vidal, Second Street Marvel, Tony's Workbench. Bubs was here. Unruly was here from the very beginning. Seawood. Hi Leia was here. Man, guys, thanks for coming.
Baby Hogan.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Coach Vic, Al, thanks for coming and making the show great, because it would be boring if it was just me. I'm not too proud to say that.
I didn't even get to talk about Prince Monkey.
Who?
Next time on Comic Book Clobberin time. Prince Monkey.
Prince Monkey. What's
Hey.
that?
Family, comic books. We'll find out next time. See you guys.